Well, with us to discuss this is the Queen guitarist and animal welfare campaigner, Dr. Brian May, and Jim Barrington, a former executive director of the League Against Cruel Sports, but now a welfare consultant to the Countryside Alliance. Thank you both for coming in. Brian May, first of all, what do you make of what the government is trying to do here? Because they're not trying to get rid of the ban.
I think it's a very underhanded act, I'm afraid, because Cameron for years has promised a free vote. It's like it's a fair fight, you know, a free vote on the repeal of the Hunting Act. He's now really realised that this probably wouldn't result in what he wants. So very quickly, as you've seen there, this thing has been put together as a way of circumventing the normal democratic process. So you introduce a little modification to an act, but this modification actually disables the whole Hunting Act. And effectively, this is repeal under another name. And I think that's a very Machiavellian and rather inexcusable way of behaving.
Jim Barrington.
No, this isn't repeal at all. Repeal is still on the table. The Prime Minister said that just a few days ago. This is about addressing exemptions in the Act, which were agreed by both sides when the Act was going through, for pest control reasons, for catching a diseased animal or something like that, a wounded animal. And they don't work. So this is a very quick, sharp measure to allow those things to work. The totally artificial number of dogs, 2 dogs, just doesn't work in large areas of forestry. Also, we have the situation in Scotland where any number of dogs can be used to flush out, and it brings that into line. So when people claim that the Scottish law is good, you can't say that it's bad when the same thing is going to happen down here.
Yeah, well, I would disagree with you, because there have been cases in Scotland recently where there's been people out there with no sign of a gun, you know, openly flouting the Act because they're allowed to use a full pack of dogs. I mean, this is going right back to before the 2004 Act, really. And in my opinion, there is no excuse for fox hunting. The idea that you say, you know, it's about pest control, I reject utterly. There is no reason...
I don't say it's about pest control.
Excuse me, you've had your say. There is no reason, there is no justification for fox hunting on the grounds of control of foxes. They breed them to hunt. So it's all about people out there trying to catch foxes for fun. They like causing pain. And this is what Cameron is actually, I'm afraid, endorsing in bringing back this.
This is the way it's always portrayed. A bunch of sadists going out killing just for fun.
I see it as sadism.
You do?
Go to any meet and you will see a whole range of people, mothers, children out there. They're not all sadists. This is about part of wildlife.
They like the hunt. They like the ride, right?
Hang on. This is a part of wildlife management. This is not about...
This is not wildlife management.
This is wildlife...
bollocks.
This is wildlife management. This is more about
keeping... This is a pretense
Brian,
to enable
Brian, will you
people
please let me finish? This is about the health and limitation of those left alive rather than those killed. That's what wildlife management is about. But what we never hear, we always hear what people dislike. We never hear the methods that they advocate. How do you feel about controlling wild animals? Is there any method that you would actually support?
You know what? This is fox hunting, right? This is what people realise is fox hunting. It's all around us here. You know, it looks kind of... They dress up nice, it looks kind of civilised. This is also fox hunting. This is what happens with terrier men. This is what flushing out a fox looks like. Have a look at this. This is what people do who like to cause pain, and you are licensing these people in allowing them to flush out foxes in the first place to this kind of horrible, crude...
But your Precious Hunting Act allows that in any case. It allows it. You designed it. It's your product.
No, I didn't design it.
Well, the anti-hunting groups do.
Yes, but basically they did the best they could, and what's happened is...
That's nonsense. They had a majority in the House of Commons at the time.
May I finish now?
They could do what they like.
Brian May, what do you say to that point? Because actually, under the existing law, this does happen anyway. There has to be. Do you accept at all there has to be a form of control of foxes?
No, I don't.
Not at all?
No, because foxes are not really causing any damage. In fact, most of the farmers that I know are more concerned about the damage that's caused by hunts during trespass. They get their pets killed, they get their children terrorised. The hunts are a horrible, nasty vestige of the last century, which should be gone and should never be brought back, in my opinion.
There is not one countryside organisation that would agree with you about that. The RSPB control foxes, although they don't shout about it. Are they wrong too?
Do they breed them to hunt as well?
I don't...
Do you know,
you're not talking about breeding them, you're talking about preserving them.
Preserving them so you can torture them?
There is a difference.
It's a disgrace, I'm sorry. Do you know that there were no foxes...
Everybody who's involved in hunting is a torturer? I mean, there are
the central
there
guides. No, there's lots of people who go out there for
the day out.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, if you go drag hunting, then you go out and you get a nice ride, you can chase something, but there is no fox sense, so the hounds can't, you know, follow a fox accidentally. There is no cruelty, and a lot of people enjoy it. That's what countryside pleasures should be about. There doesn't have to be the killing. There doesn't have to be the enjoyment of the kill. Aren't you ashamed that you go out there to enjoy the death of an animal?
I don't do it, Brian. No, I'm not ashamed, because I do not see people doing it in the way that you describe. You're hyping this up so that the public see this as a sort of kill or no kill situation, and it's not. If people understood wildlife management, as we have to with a whole range of animals, for disease control, for protecting vulnerable species, for biodiversity...
I believe it's a pretense. I think you're a bunch of lying bastards.
Well, that's very nice of you. Thank you.
Sorry.
Well, I'm afraid that we are out of time, and of course with apologies for anybody watching who might have been slightly offended by that language, but thank you both very much indeed for coming in. It's certainly a very passionate debate on both sides that will be settled in the House of Commons on Wednesday.